Chapter 4. Flying through the air, high above the forest, flew the creature that Alex had blasted, seemingly never to touch ground again. But he eventually does, smashing into a mountainside, many, many miles away, unconscious and still. There are no words to describe what had transpired in the village, the havoc that the beast had caused, and how Alex did what he did. Cassie, now no longer in awe, the reality of the world certainly defied the norm, but she had questions for Alex.
Okay, Alex, how the hell did you blast him like that? And give me a straightforward answer, man. It was clear that Cassie meant business. Well? She asked again while tapping her foot on the ground.
Since my arrival on this world, I have somewhat developed abilities. I can't explain it to you, but every being here goes through a similar transition. Maybe it's the air, maybe it's the food and the vegetation we eat, but nobody here has the answers. Some of us get stronger, some start growing extra limbs. It's different for each and every one of us. Remember I said I saw you running down the dark alley and I tried to stop you? Well, one of my powers is to see through many worlds, including my own. Alex then shrugs and pauses for a bit. I've seen my own family a few times. Well, as for the energy beam, that's new. It's been a tingle up to now.
So you're telling me I could turn into a complete freak just by being here?
Wow, she exclaimed. Enough, Cassie. This is no joke,
said Alex rather firmly. This could go in many directions. Not all transformations are good. Look at that creature over there, slithering on the ground, while once upon a time he had limbs. Cassie's excitement quickly dulled to concern. Anyway, let's help the village put themselves back together. After all, we caused this mess. Meanwhile, back in the forest on the outskirts of Canthorpe, Zedimus is having a giggle to himself after seeing the beast fly through the air.
Stupid rampage. I warned him about that guy, but his young lady friend, I can replace her yet, but there is power within her, more than Alex actually. I will observe them for a bit. Just need to form a disguise for myself. Oh, what's that?
In the distance, a lone human was making his way through the forest, carrying a carcass over his shoulders. As the man paced through the thick shrubbery, he was oblivious to the oncoming danger.
What luck. He will do perfectly.
Many seasons had passed since that time. Alex and Cassie still remained in the village, doing their part, just to find some form of semblance in this strange world. But there was a twist in this tale. Cassie herself had started developing her own powers. Sitting on the stool in the back of their food store, 3 fruits floating before her face in mid-air. Alex walks in.
Wow, I see you getting the hang of it. Well done.
At least you're not a snake on the floor. He laughed to himself at an attempt for humor. That's not all, said Cassie. Yesterday, I kicked a stone into the forest, but it flew past the treetops, breaking branches on its way through. So I guess I'm getting stronger as well? That's interesting. Alex said as he walked out of the store. Sitting in the front of the store was a man named Sketch, also a human. He had tattered clothes, brown hair, and a long scar that stretched across his throat from side to side, left to right. After Alex found the man wandering beyond the walls, delirious and confused, he never spoke a word, but did have an eye for drawing. "Sketch, if you're not too busy, please go grab some water from the river," asked Alex. Sketch nods his head, grabs the bucket, and makes his way out of the store. "He's still not speaking," says Cassie, leaning in the doorway. "I wonder what kind of life he had before." "Well, I'm sure he will eventually give us an explanation. Give him time, Cass." "But how much time? He's been like this for ages already." "Let's close the store quick. Sketch won't be back for a bit. The lake is frozen over, so retrieving water is quite the task. You and I need to go help mend the south gate," said Alex, closing the shutters to the store. "Okay, just let me go grab my coat." Cassie had fashioned a coat from the fur of a fallen grundog that lay in the field beyond the wall. They were the first creatures she had encountered on her arrival here. The two made their way to the south gate, trampling through dense black snow, making short conversation with the many residents as they passed. Eventually, they stood before the gate, where one of the gundogs had smashed a hole straight through it. No one quite knew the reason for it, but no one really cared. They were beasts, after all, weren't they? Cassie knelt down and peeked through the gaping hole. She could see Sketch in the distance, still smashing away at the ice, when suddenly he vanished from sight. "Oh crap," said Cassie. "I think Sketch just fell in the lake." "Hurry! We need to get down there! Open the gate!" The creature grunted and raised the gate. The two frantically ran down to the icy lake, where they could see the poor young man thrashing about in the water. "We're coming! Just hold on!" they both screamed repeatedly. And as they got to the shoreline, all movement had stopped. "Stay here!" Alex selflessly runs onto the ice, not noticing the cracks beneath his own feet. "Where is he? I can't see him!" And within seconds, he too falls in and vanishes beneath the ice. Cassie watches in disbelief and starts yelling for help. But she too is too far from the village to be heard. Just then, a red beam shoots from beneath the ice, blasting a hole. It's Alex, and he's struggling to get out. So Cassie concentrates her energy and focuses on Alex. And before she knew it, he is slowly being lifted out of the water. They look at each other, wide-eyed. "You're doing it! Just focus." "Shut up! I'm trying to concentrate." She eventually brings him to the shore and throws her coat over him. Alex is shivering and thanks Cassie repeatedly. "Thank you. Thank you so much. We lost Sketch." "Come, Alex. Let's get you warm. Let's get you back to the village." On arrival back at the store, the side door was open, so Cass bravely made her way in just to check the surroundings. And there before her stood Sketch, emptying the buckets of water into the trough. "What?" Cassie is shocked. "We just saw you vanish beneath the ice. Alex nearly drowned trying to save you." Sketch just looked at them in confusement. He picked up a piece of parchment and drew a picture of the well in the village center. Cass and Alex were at a loss for words, but very, very happy to see him. "At least you're fine," said Alex, still shivering. "Okay, let's sort you out quickly," Cassie says, but gives Sketch a huge hug before she takes Alex to the back. Later that evening, a fire is lit. and the three companions sit around it, in silence, each going through the events of the day, trying to make sense of it all. "Who did we see at the lake?" asked Alex. "We were so sure it was you." They pause and stare into the blazing embers of the fire. Sketch clears his throat. The other two just look at him, hoping that maybe he says something. And he does. "I did go down to the lake, but I saw that the ice was too thick, so I made my way back to the village." Alex and Cass just kept their mouths shut. "I passed you both as you went down towards the south gate, so busy conversing with the locals that you never noticed me." The young man's tone begins to change. "In fact, I have a question for you. Did you like my trick?" What trick?" asked Alex. "Oh, the one where you thought you saw me vanish beneath the ice. I must say, humans are so easy to fool. I am very surprised with you, Alex. You didn't notice me. You haven't felt my presence at all, have you? You're weak. Now be quiet. I have a date with your friend." Sketch snaps his fingers, and Alex's mouth is sealed by his own flesh. "Now go to sleep." Alex drops to the ground.
Hello, little lady. I suppose you know exactly who I am, don't you?
"I know now, Zadimus," she says, staring into his eyes, clenching her fists.
Please don't try your cheap parlor tricks on me. You're not that powerful yet. So, you haven't answered my question. Did you like my trick? Oh, never mind. So, why take all this time to reveal myself? Well, it's simple. I needed to know if you were a threat, and clearly you are not. But only because you haven't unlocked your true potential yet.
"What do you want from me? Really?"
Before I answer that, let me slip into something a bit more comfortable.
He stands up, and slowly his skin begins to crack, and tiny flames start to sear through from beneath the flesh, sizzling. As the skin starts to fall to the ground, piece by piece, Cassie is nauseated by the smell of burnt flesh piling on the ground. And lo and behold, there stood the demon in full view, glaring at her with those red, pearled eyes.
You must come with me now. Queen Vervain awaits you. There, far beyond the mountains of Entelor.
"I am not going with you," says Cass as she takes a swing at the demon. But as her fist struck his flesh, a wisp of smoke formed, and the creature was behind her.
You're a feisty one. Me like. No more games, Cassie. We are leaving.
Alex starts to wake up, and his hands immediately begin to glow. Zadimus turns to him and tilts his head to the side.
Our game is not over yet, Alex. But for now, I am taking her with me. Farewell.
In an instant, Cassie and Zadimus